Did everybody watch the debate last night?
Yep.
What I could.
Oh, what you could? You couldn't watch that whole
I kept
thing?
falling asleep.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you fall asleep at the Trump debate?
Because I know I'm not going to. I know I'm not going to vote for either one of them.
Okay.
So you just shut down.
Yeah.
You just shut off and shut down.
Okay. Yeah, I made a point to watch it last night because it's just funny to watch these things, and I'm wondering what are going to be the Trump moments out of these things, right? He always has a couple of things where it's like, did he really say that?
At first I thought we were not going to get them, but then around like 9:31, it started to get a little tepid and like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. There was a couple times, man. There was the ones where, well, she's taken all my policies. I brought her a MAGA hat. That was hilarious.
Run, Spot, run.
Yeah, right. It was a lot, it was a debate. Mm-hmm. These debates are not as entertaining without an audience. Give us a damn audience.
Yeah, the audience would have been fun.
I want to hear the oohs and ahs. Ooh,
right, me too.
Yeah.
Because really, they've become slugfests.
Yeah.
And it's good to hear the crowd reaction from that stuff. And I know, the Democrats are very scared to have audiences now. I don't know why, but let's have the audience. I don't know why. Yeah, they've always made these rules now this year that's like, we don't want an audience.
Especially ABC, which is primarily Democratic. Am I saying that right? Or Democrat? Like, I feel like that would have been in their favor, but...
Yeah, it was...
I'm going to say the moderators were not very moderate. They really definitely leaned towards Kamala a lot. I really wanted to see a more bias. You know what I mean? Like straight, like Troy, you should have done that. That would have been perfect for you. Because you don't care.
No, I wouldn't. Listen, I'm not voting for either one of you. So
right, that's what it should have been. Yeah, you could tell.
Give it to CNN. CNN did a more unbiased.
I agree with you on that.
A couple of months ago. Yeah, I agree. They asked Kamala Harris a couple of tough questions, but they always kind of padded it. They always kind of gave her the answer in their question.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
It was...
She didn't really answer anything.
I know your values haven't changed over the years, but why have your policies changed? So they gave her the avenue to kind of say, well, my values,
right.
We're not calling you a flip-flopper, but we're calling you a flip-flopper.
Right. It was kind of, and then they went for the jugular with Trump. But, I thought Trump as a personality controlled that debate. Mm-hmm. I mean, he really did. That they talk about looking presidential. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was the most authoritative guy in that room. Well, I guess Kamala Harris, not a guy, so
right,
not a guy. So, but it was funny, man. I mean, it was funny. I watched these things for the comedy. There were some good Trump quotes. There were some. Kamala Harris didn't really answer all the questions. I mean, Trump didn't answer all the questions either.
I think I would have found it more humorous if it wasn't our lives that they're playing with. It's like
that's true.
That's a good point.
That is true.
I think
and our pets' lives at this point.
What the hell was up with that?
Something in Ohio. Apparently, he's saying that the immigrants that were put in Ohio are eating the Ohioans' dogs and cats and their pets.
That's always been a horrible racist joke.
Very.
So it's
well, I mean, people are saying it. I'm not saying it. People are saying
it. Don't repeat it.
The people on the ground are saying it.
And the city manager had said that there was no reports of that. And
well, of course, the city manager is going to say that's something a city manager would say to sound good.
It's the guy on the TV. He kept saying he was saying
the guy on the TV.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of talk about that on X. There's a lot of videos going around on X. I don't know how current they are. A lot of the videos look old, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But, so I don't know how often that's happening. There seems to be at least one confirmed report of a guy eating a goose.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
I was going to say at Treaty Park, we'd have ducks out there every once in a while and just vanish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was no alligator to be found. I mean, if there was an alligator in the pond, we'd okay, the alligator got him. But
I mean, they do have real problems with people coming in and taking over apartment complex. I mean, this is happening in Chicago where my brother lives. I can talk personally about this, but they've got big problems with some of the immigration happening and some of the people that are in these cities and really doing violent things. I mean, I think that's proven at this point. Not, proven a lot more than people eating cats and dogs.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm less worried about people eating cat and dogs than I am people stabbing each other in the street.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what the heart of the matter is. Yeah.
And so, you know, the MAGA line was hilarious where he said, you know, she's adopting a lot of my policies. I thought about bringing her a MAGA hat today. I thought about bringing her a MAGA hat. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Yeah, so that was a debate. That's what we get for debates.
It didn't
now.
really change anything. I don't think on anybody's side.
I don't think anybody who's voting for Harris sat there and said, "Well, you know what? Now I'm going to vote for Trump."
Right.
Nobody who's voting for Trump sat there and said, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, Kamala Harris."
And I think if you're sitting in the middle, you're just more confused.
Yes,
so
sir.
You're like, oh gosh. I mean, because some of the things they're saying, I just wish they had like the light bulb over them every time they lied. I think the whole room would have been lit up.
Yeah.
I mean, it just was like, okay, that's not even true. Like,
so Troy,
like,
in the
it's
history,
not even believable sometimes. I mean, and that's from both sides they were doing it. So,
in the history of politics, have you seen? Is this like a bad time period in politics, or is this like a normal time period?
Yeah, because Troy, you've been around for all of politics.
Right. I've been around since I voted for Jefferson. But no,
George.
It's all.
Sorry. I'd vote for George.
Moving on.
Yeah, right.
No, and this has always been a thing. And I'll tell you, there was some in the mid 1800s is probably when politics was at its worst. This one is so bad because there's so many different avenues of media that's hitting you.
Mm-hmm.
Used to, you got your news from 3 networks.
Right.
That was it.
True
you were
story.
locked in. That's all you had. Now you get it from hundreds, if not thousands of different areas. You're going down podcasts that are just taking you down even bigger rabbit holes. And so the difference is, I don't think the two at the top of the ticket are worse. I think it's us that's worse. So it's our ability to get to the news and do those things. We wouldn't know this much about them if it wasn't for our social media and everything else.
And I think that can be a good thing and a bad thing.
I agree.
You know, I think we're a lot more informed if you know where to look, if you're doing some of this research yourself into the candidates, you're a lot more informed. You have a lot more avenues to be informed instead of just the 3 networks who kind of give you their opinion and everybody sort of follows suit. So I think it's good that way. But to your point, Troy, also, you know, you can find a lot of BS.
Yeah, you're a lot more misinformed equally to, if not more than informed. So you got to be very cautious in where you're looking. And I think the misinformed side is the side that's that makes our country dangerous right now.
Mm.
And I'll real assessment of the debate. I really think, Kamala Harris. I don't know how to say it right. Just don't hold it against me. I don't care. I don't care.
Kamala.
Yeah, Lady K. There you go.
Lady K. Sure, we'll go with VPK.
VPK.
Kamala.
I don't think she answered the question. She never answered a question that was asked of her.
Neither did he, though.
Well, he didn't answer many of them, but which is what politicians do.
Right.
Sure, that's fine. And the whole, I have a plan. This is what we've heard out of politicians since the 80s. Yeah. That's all they say.
They
I have a plan. They never explain their plan.
I hate
they just
that,
say, I
you
have
guys.
a plan.
I really hate that.
But she did a great job of, because there were plenty of times that Trump could have pointed out that she didn't answer the question. However, he was too busy defending himself. Like, he took the bait on, she would throw in personal insults in there, and that's what he would focus on instead of focusing on her non-answer. I know she did a great job at that.
Yeah.
Did a great job at that.
Especially when she mentioned the rallies. Oh, that hit him in the chops. Nobody goes to her rallies.
Which,
Mine are the best. People were bored, she said, and they left. Yeah.
People don't leave my rallies.
Oh.
They stay the whole time. They stay a little bit after.
Y'all ever been to one? I've never been to one. Wasn't there one here?
I don't think I've been to a rally itself.
Blake and I went to the
I've never been to anybody's
amphitheater, and we ended up having to watch it from the Elks Lodge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember it at the amphitheater.
Only reason we went is because he was here, and it was a
I
learning experience for Blake. So.
Yeah.
It's a comedy show.
So that was in 2016, I believe.
I'm not going to take credit for him being here, but I told him he should be on my show back then.
Okay.
And because of what happened, there was a hurricane that hit St. Augustine, and I said, you come on the show, talk about you and the hurricane and all that stuff. And then
Matthew.
I made the hurricane.
2 hours later, he was making plans to be here. Yeah, emergency trip. So, I'm not going to say I did that, but I probably did that.
That's amazing.
I'm sure.
A lot of people. A lot of people. Yeah.
Yep. Lots of people.
Lots
of people said it couldn't be done.
They'll go back to solar. They'll have a whole desert of solar. I'm actually a fan of solar.
I'm actually a fan of, yeah.
And then he slipped that in. I'm like, so are you making fun of solar or are you? I didn't. Yeah, I just was like, I couldn't get it.
Neither did he.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think she hurt herself. I don't think he hurt himself.
It's still the same.
I think he was very controlled for Donald Trump. I mean, he had a couple moments where he's like, where she did throw him off. Where her attacks and he's I'm a counterpuncher.
Right.
So I think he got a little too much into that, and she won those little spats. But that's the only part. There was never any policy that came out of her that I was like, oh, that sounds like a great idea.
No.
Right.
That
Zero
sounded
policy.
original.
Right.
There was nothing that sounded, it sounded like either she was repeating what his policies were or someone else's policies that's in the middle. The only thing I think she did good at was, all right, I can get him thrown off right here. And she did. She manipulated
every time
certain situations like that when she didn't want to talk about something, she'd throw a barb at him and he took the bait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Trump people are leaving. I don't think the Kamala people are leaving. And I think the people in the middle are still like, I don't know what the hell to do.
I have concepts of a plan,
So.
but I'm not president yet.
Yeah. Concepts of a plan.
At least he was honest.
Yeah.
She just did it, and she kind of talked in circles about not having a plan or even talking about how the economy was for the last 4 years. So she didn't really have a direct answer to that, but at least he said, I have a concept of a plan. So that was at least honest there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it was very much the same old political speak. She said a lot of the same things over and over again. It was just like there was kind of a few go-to things that she would repeat over and over and over again instead of answering a question. And that was
like her buzz. Yeah. Like she has, I feel like there
she
was
has
a
buzzwords.
list. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
turn the
that.
page.
Yeah.
We want to move forward.
Well, now the blogs are saying that her earrings were microphones, allegedly. I don't think so.
Come on.
I don't think so. I'm sorry. I don't think
that's
so.
ridiculous.
They could have done a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better if they were microphones.
what
if I had microphones,
they
I would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Swifties now that Taylor has officially came out and endorsed Kamala? Do you think the Swifties have any factor?
I think Taylor controls her own weather on where she stands in life, and I think that that's already a given. But I think that a lot of her Swifties are split. I mean, there's her country fans that are original, that are conservative, and then there's her progressive ones that are more moderate. So I don't know if she's going to sway any votes because I read what she wrote, and it was just like I did my research, and this is my choice. I don't know why celebrities feel the need to do this. I'm not one for that. I don't believe that they should do that. I don't feel like, because Taylor has such a powerful audience and that's obviously going to sway the vote somewhere, but I don't know. I'm on the fence about what she did.
When you're an entertainer and you get into politics too, I mean, you divide up some of your audience.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you really do.
That's why I think I said it earlier in the week about Michael Jordan is, he basically said Republicans and Democrats both buy shoes.
Yeah.
I'd be the same way,
and he
sir.
He always stayed out of it. So I think that's the best policy, but I mean, they're allowed to have their free
of course,
speech
it's
too.
their life, yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of people, especially that aren't, your Swifties, that are sitting there saying, well, you know what? Taylor Swift really has her finger on the pulse of politics. So I'm gonna take her opinion and not do any of my own fact checking.
Yeah.
But I want to know also, are politics in her ear too? Like, can you please do this or whatever?
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
If
what I
the
do think
politicians think you have any voter block that can give you support, they're gonna come talk to you and try and get that endorsement.
Yeah.
So
what I do think is powerful is that she is still, friends with Brittany Mahomes, right? Like they gave the hug at the U.S. Open because there was a big divide because Brittany's obviously more for Trump, and then now Taylor's saying for Harris. But I think that that's really important to kind of highlight because there can be an existence of friends, out there. It doesn't have to be. There should be. There shouldn't be a division of state like that. Politics cannot run our lives. That's not the truth.
Yeah, we cannot throw all of our identity behind a
No.
political candidate or a political party.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, the political parties all seem to be working towards the same goal, and it's not necessarily in favor of us. So it's to throw all your weight behind a party and say anybody who's not part of my party is not my friend. That's ridiculous.
That is
Well,
I
ridiculous.
mean, that's completely ridiculous.
And I can tell you, I mean, that's part of the reason why Mike and my show, I think, worked for so long. Uncommon Ground is at the end of the day, we were always going to be friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
No matter. I mean, and him and I had some great knockdown dragouts on air,
Yeah.
and off air. But at the end of the day, he calls me, I'm there. I call him, he's there. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So,
And,
do we have it? Is there going to be another debate? Are they doing another debate?
No, I think the
I
next
don't
one's the
think
VPs, right? And that's in the
Yeah,
beginning of
I
October.
think
Okay.
that's it. I think one thing that Trump could have held on to, but he got distracted a little bit, was the border situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was Biden appointed her to that.
The czar.
Right,
she doesn't like to be called that, but
And
yeah.
I think Trump kind of started a little bit and then got off track, and he could have held on to that
With the
a little-
wall, like
with
we need a
little-
wall. He said we need a wall.
Yeah, but I mean, just in border management, period.
Mhm.
See, I sort of disagree with you there because I think he brought that up every chance. I think he slipped a little morsel of it into almost every single answer that he had. He didn't really expand on it in one singular answer, which sounds like that's what you were looking for.
That's what
or
I was
a couple
looking
of
for,
answers. But he kind of got it in a lot of different answers.
It was his most
Well-
talked about, 4 minutes and 32 seconds
yeah,
of that.
yeah.
But I think, like you said, it was pieces here and there, and because she failed so miserably at that, I felt like you couldn't even handle this portion, and this was, a fingernail on an elephant, and she couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I felt like that was one of the things he could have hit her harder on. So, but you got to be careful when you're in politics, how hard you hit, because if you don't knock them out, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up for a big counterpunch. Yeah, all in all, I guess we all agree it was not productive at all.
No.
It was just a show. It was entertainment.
Yeah.
We didn't really get anything done. If you want to get something done, you go down to the White House, you wake up your boss at 4 PM.
Oh my God,
that
I
was
lost
funny.
it. That was
funny. That was hilarious.
That was very funny. She
Uh,
wants transgender operations on illegal aliens in prison.
right.
What?
That was just throwing all of Trump's talking points into one. I don't know where that came from. I've never heard of that before. Maybe it's a thing.
I'm asking the sheriff. I'm going to see. Like this.
Yeah, right. Sheriff Hardwick, are we transing our inmates?
We're feeding them dogs.
God bless. I know. Oh. Anyway.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But fun.
It was an interesting moment.
It
yeah.
was, man. If you want to hear all about Trump's side, go to Twitter. Twitter's the place for that. If you want to hear all about Kamala's side, I don't know where you go for that.
Instacrap.
Facebook, really, maybe. Threads.
Yeah, please.
Lots of it on Threads, I'm
Lots
sure.
of
Lots on threads. Sure, it's inspiring. A lot of joy.
I'm always amazed when I get new followers on Threads. I'm like, really? People are here?
I think
People
they
are
force
here?
them, though.
They do force a lot of people that like follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Once you open a Threads account, you like automatically follow the people you follow. They're really doing a lot to pad the numbers out there. on
Kind of,
Threads.
sort of. Yeah, I see that too. Because I really didn't follow anybody on my threads. I was just like, I'm just going to put my positive quotes for Spin Bike on there and I'll have
Yeah.
it like a file, so it's nice.
I just do. I've got it set to automatically whatever I post on Instagram goes to Threads.
Oh,
so
nice,
it's just
nice.
Like, yeah, there's so many damn platforms. I'd be there for hours posting to each individual
I get
one
it.
if I
yeah.
had to.
Hootsuite. Shout out.
Right? I used to use Hootsuite a lot, but they give you that little tag on
What the hell's
Facebook that
that?
says posted by Hootsuite.
I don't like that
And that
either.
makes it feel very unauthentic,
It's an app that it's like sort of like you have one post, but it'll broadcast it out to all these different platforms at once, so that
Yeah.
you don't have to keep posting.
Right. And you can schedule your posts. There's a lot you can do, but a lot of that you can do through Instagram and Facebook anyway now.
Yeah. Yeah. They must have bought out Hootsuite. And that's how they roll.
I remember, gosh, Hootsuite was a big deal back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. All right. Anyway, moving on. St. Augustine hosting public meetings to discuss citywide vulnerability assessments. Did you guys talk about this over the last couple of days?